Hey everyone, I'm doing an IPA and Pale Ale blending video. So I have Resilience Pompadour, Pale Ale, 5.6% alcohol. This one is moderately hazy, but very, very low in the bitterness and has quite a bit of yeast esters and fruitiness happening. So that one I thought would be a good one to mix with Springdale's Dang, which I did a single review of both of these recently you can check out. But this one is very, very hazy, very little head retention, and has a good amount of astringency and bitterness. It's also a little stronger, 6.5. So I thought that mixing this mild, softer one with this one that's a little bit cleaner but really sharp might be good. Then I also have the freshest batch of 4 Point from Trillium that maybe would be a good combo too, because neither of these have Citra in them, and of course this features Citra prominently. But this batch is also a little weird. It's very unhazy, so maybe I'll start off by just trying this one so you can see what it looks like. But Trillium is just, their consistency, I don't know if it's getting worse. I don't buy them that often these days, but I got a Melcher Street batch that was also, it's literally the clearest Trillium IPA I've ever seen. And I don't think that's what they want. That's not, unless they're like saving the super haze for like their double dry hop versions, because they're doing those more and more these days. But we'll see. We shall see. So I tipped this can over a little bit. It was canned very recently, on the 15th, so it was like a week ago. And I mean, it has some haze, but I can see my finger through it. It's probably hard to pick up on camera, but it's just not what you come to expect from Trillium. Maybe this is what their beers looked like in 2013 when they opened or something. But you just lose that mouthfeel and that intense pop of flavor that was the hallmark of Trillium, and I just feel like they aren't doing that great with consistency. They're still making a lot of great beers. I've had plenty of great beers from them. I'm a huge fan of their simple, cheap wild ales. They're doing like Dutchman's Britches and Dogtooth Violet. And this smells pretty good, but it's lacking something. It just doesn't have that pop. It's very spicy. Maybe it just seems more phenolic than it should be. And it's fine, but I think there's something medicinal about it. And it's very, very different from DDH 4 Point, which I just had some of that last night. I got the batch cans they released last time, and that one was really, really hazy, in your face, what you would expect from it. And this just seems like it's a completely different beer. I'm wondering if it's in the fermentation they have problems, maybe because it's been super hot. But it doesn't seem like it should be. I'm sure they have giant state-of-the-art brew houses. I don't know what's happening. I do know that this style of beer is hard to make consistently. Maybe a batch of Citra that's lower in polyphenols. I don't know, but I kind of wish I hadn't bought it. Honestly, it doesn't have the Trillium thing that I want. I should have just like shelled up the extra $5 and got one of their DDH versions of something. There's something that's not quite right. I feel like it's not just the haze. And the smell is not very strong. So yeah, there's a little bit of a boozy medicinal phenol thing in there. It's not quite right. Let's see if I can fix it by adding a little bit of Pompadour from Resilience. So I would say this is a true pale ale, because this is 6.6%, and I guess in this version it's very low in bitterness, the non-DH version. So maybe this will be a little bit too. It'll be a little bit too, mild. See how much haze that added to it? I cannot really see my finger. There's a little bit of a shadow through there. And the smell is already much more interesting and brighter. It had just a much more full mouthfeel and flavor from the Pompadour. And it turns out it's pretty good, but it's really low in bitterness. It's not too sweet somehow. It's just very, very low in bitterness. Doesn't have much hop astringency, hop burn, from just chalkiness and insane dry hops. And also is very, very low in the IBUs. So I'm not sure if I'm big on this blend. Yeah, two pale ales that are really low in bitterness. The chilling the resilience did add a lot more complexity. But the Dang, this one, the flavor and the aroma and everything is really explosive, very tasty. Both of these were canned. These are all really fresh too. This is canned 6.8. Pompadour is canned 6.4. But 4 Point is by far the freshest, but the most lackluster. So if you can see this one, super duper hazy on camera there, but you can see the head is not going to stick around very long. Whew. And there's some dankness in there that I wasn't getting before. But in comparison to these two, which like this, there's no greenness at all. But that's got, hop burn, some chalkiness, and all that stuff. I like it if they would just figure out how to make it a little softer, carbonation a little bit less prickly. But I'm thinking that a perfect combo would be the Pompadour and the Dang. Let's see how that turns out. So the Dang uses real interesting hop combo, Strata and Comet. This one has Idaho Gem, Mosaic, and Simcoe. So we have all sorts of American hops from all ages in here, and you can see that is very Dang, or very, very hazy. And it softened this up, but it's not too sweet now. Sometimes you have to kind of swirl it a little bit. The beer you pour on top obviously kind of stays on top for a little bit. You get more of that. Still a little bit of a bite. Let's see if I take, this is complicated, the 4 Point and Pompadour and pour a little bit of it in here. Actually, first I should taste it. Yeah, I love that little bit of addition of Citra, even though it's very muted in the 4 Point right now. But I'm hoping that this is what I call the master blend, when you get everything blended together. So this is all three beers. You can see it has kind of your perfect color for a New England IPA. The head looks okay. It's not super thin bubbles that dissipate immediately. Wow, that smells really good actually. So it's a little bit of a ridiculous hopping. Now we have Strata and Comet from here, Mosaic, Simcoe, Idaho Gem from here, and Citra and Columbus. So we have 7 hops, which I guess a lot of breweries have used more than 7 hops in their IPAs. I'm trying to figure out what's the most prominent one. It might be the Pompadour still, since I added that into both of the blends. And the Pompadour is nice because it actually has a little bit of a malt character to it. So it's got a little bit of a toasty Honey Nut Cheerios thing. Whereas both of these, it was like, there's beer in here. I mean, the Trillium is more so if it's the hops are a little bit more prominent. But this one is like, what is this? This is some kind of combination of tropical fruits and bitters. But this blend is really nice. And there's a little bit of the 4 Point Citra poking through there, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pick out all the flavors though. It might be a bit muddled, but in terms of mouthfeel, bitterness, juiciness factor, haze, aroma, cleanness of the finish and yeast. This is working out perfectly for me. Whereas all these by themselves weren't exactly what would be my ideal hazy IPA. This one is probably, and it's just about, I guess it's probably a little bit, it's probably in like 6.2 range or something maybe. And well carbonated. Now, maybe not everyone has a shitload of hazy IPAs to blend together, but if you open a can of something, you're not really into it at that point and you want to have another beer, try mixing another can. Or if you buy something and it's an off batch, it doesn't mean you have to necessarily just have to work your way through it, or you forget about it and put it in the back of your fridge. Unless it's a batch that has like huge horrible off flavors like diacetyl butteriness or something like that, you might be able to blend things in it if it's just too bitter or not hazy enough or not bitter enough or something like that. Yeah, I'm still getting some bite from the Springdale though, but this is a fun thing to do. Definitely give it a try. I'm realizing that blending is something that's especially good also for if you're a home brewer, for getting the ideas of blending different hops and different malts. I don't know the exact malts on these two actually. Trillium, they always say it's mostly just pale malt, and then wheat is kind of their base for the Fort Point and Street series. But I guess that's it. Bye.